In the beginning, she truly believed that silence would work in her favor. She told herself that if she pulled away, if she stopped responding, if she created distance, you would come crawling back. That's what she had seen before, men breaking under pressure, reaching out in desperation just to get a crumb of her attention. She thought she had you figured out. She thought she could weaponize the silence. But what she didn't realize was that this time the silence wouldn't break you. It would break her. At first, it was easy for her to act detached, to ignore your messages, to walk away and pretend like nothing inside her was affected. Maybe she even convinced herself that walking away was the right decision, that you would miss her presence, reflect on your mistakes, and return with more devotion than ever. But as the days turned into weeks, and weeks into a haunting stillness, something began to shift in her. She didn't expect your silence to last this long. She didn't expect you to play the game better than her. Every night she lays in bed, hoping her phone lights up with your name. She picks it up for no reason, just to double-check. Maybe she missed a message. Maybe it didn't go through. Maybe you reached out on a different platform. But no. Silence. A hollow, stretching silence that wraps around her like a fog she can't escape. And no matter how many distractions she piles onto herself, new clothes, social outings, flirty dear miss, it doesn't fill the space you left behind, because your silence isn't just absence. It's a mirror that forces her to face the truth about her choices, her pride, her assumption. She may laugh with her friends, she may post stories showing her smiling at some rooftop party, but that's not joy, that's survival, that's performance. That's her way of telling herself she still has control, even though deep down she knows she's losing it. Because real peace doesn't need an audience, but she needs validation constantly, and the one person she truly wants it from is the one who's no longer giving it. She'll never admit this to anyone, not even herself, but every time she refreshes her messages and doesn't see your name, a small part of her spirit cracks. Because this silence, it's more painful than any argument, any closure talk, any final goodbye. Silence leaves her in limbo. Silence makes her question everything. Did you stop caring? Did you move on? Did she matter as much as she thought? These questions aren't just thoughts. They are obsessions. They echo in the back of her mind like a cruel lullaby every night. What breaks her even more is realizing you're not just being silent. You're calm, you're composed, you're unbothered, and that shatters the illusion she once clung to, that she had the emotional upper hand, that she was the prize, because if she was truly irreplaceable, if she had really left a mark, you'd be chasing her by now. But instead, you're quiet, still, and that stillness is louder than any confrontation. She tries to rationalize it. Maybe you're hurt. Maybe you're playing the same game. Maybe you'll crack any day now. But the longer this continues, the more she begins to feel the weight of reality settle into her chest like a stone. She didn't just lose a man. She lost a man who knows his worth. A man who, once pushed to his edge, doesn't beg, doesn't plead, doesn't chase. A man who disappears without slamming doors because he understands that his absence is the loudest answer he can give. And while she may never say it, while she may never confess it to anyone, this silent treatment, your silence is the one thing she never anticipated. She prepared for everything else. She prepared for anger, for begging, for you fighting to get her back. But she didn't prepare for the one scenario where you simply let go. And now, night after night, that scenario plays out in real time. And with every day that passes and every text that doesn't come in, it tears her apart a little more. Women are often told that men will wait, that no matter how long it takes, the man will be there, emotionally stuck, emotionally available, emotionally anchored to the memory of her, and she believed that. She believed that while she explored her options, enjoyed attention, and took her time figuring things out, you'd still be emotionally orbiting around her. She thought you'd check her stories, like her posts, maybe even throw in the occasional message to test the waters. But when she looked and saw nothing, not a like, not a comment, not even a single view, panic started to settle in. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. You weren't supposed to disappear. You weren't supposed to stop caring. And yet that's exactly what you did. You didn't argue. You didn't beg. You just fell silent. You didn't just walk away. You removed your energy entirely, and that's what she can't handle, because your energy was what made her feel secure. It was the attention you gave, the effort you invested, the emotional consistency you provided, that made her feel like she had time to be confused, time to play games, time to test boundaries. But when that safety net vanished, so did the illusion of control she thought she had over the situation, because now she realizes she was never actually the one in power. You were the one providing the validation. You were the one keeping the emotional connection alive, and now you're gone. She's haunted by how easy you made it look. No dramatic exit, no emotional breakdown, just a clean, sharp silence that slices through her pride. She can't wrap her mind around the fact that the man who once sent her sweet messages, made her feel special, and fought for her, is now completely unreachable, emotionally distant, almost like he never existed. But she knows you existed, because she felt it, and that's the paradox she can't solve. How can a man who cared so deeply suddenly not care at all? That question haunts her, loops endlessly in her mind, becoming a gnawing, invisible wound that she tries to hide even from herself. And here's the part she'll never say out loud. She regrets waiting. She regrets taking her time. She regrets assuming that she could press pause on you while she explored her whims, because now the door she thought would always stay slightly open has been locked, bolted shut. She still sees you, perhaps more evolved now. Maybe your body looks better, your vibe more centered, your aura stronger. And that's the part that hurts her most. You're not just gone, you've improved. You're leveling up in silence while she's stuck in emotional rewind, trying to make sense of where it all went wrong. She thought you'd linger. She thought she had all the time in the world to come back around. But now she knows she didn't lose just anyone. She lost the kind of man who knows how to walk away with dignity, how to respect his own worth without creating chaos, and how to use silence not as a weapon, but as a boundary. And that realization, that she's no longer waited for, no longer thought about the same way, no longer wanted the way she expected, that realization is devastating, not because of ego alone, but because she now knows. Asterisk, you were serious, asterisk. Your silence wasn't a tactic, it was a transformation, and it's that transformation that keeps her awake at night, wondering if she made the biggest mistake of her life. There's a very specific kind of desperation that comes when someone starts performing for the attention of a person who no longer watches. And that's what she's doing now, performing. Every carefully selected Instagram post, every story with a fake smile, every selfie with a cryptic caption about healing, peace, or glowing up, is not really about growth. It's bait. It's bait for your attention. She doesn't post for herself. She posts for the version of you she thinks is still watching, still lurking, still curious. She needs you to see how happy, she is without you, because deep down she's terrified that you actually are happy without her. And that possibility, your genuine peace, destroys her more than any insult or confrontation ever could. When she uploads a picture, she checks the viewer list, not once, not twice, but over and over, refreshing, scanning, looking for your name, and every time it's not there, there's a slight drop in her stomach, like a silent reminder. He's no longer watching. She'll never tell anyone this, but she doesn't dress up for new men. She doesn't spend hours on her hair and makeup just because she wants to. She's still trying to project an image, not of who she is, but of what she wants you to believe she's become. She wants you to see her moving on, thriving, surrounded by others, living her best life. But the truth is, it's a performance, one fueled by insecurity and fear, not peace, because if she really moved on, she wouldn't need to show it. Real healing doesn't need an audience. Real peace doesn't need proof. But she's trying to convince herself just as much as she's trying to convince you. It's all one big mask, and behind that mask, loneliness, doubt, regret, but more than anything, confusion. Confusion about how the man she thought would never let go now doesn't even flinch in her absence. She thought you'd miss her. She thought she'd be unforgettable. She believed that no matter what, you'd be waiting in the shadows, ready to take her back the moment she gave a hint. But what she's starting to realize, the deeper this silence continues, is that you're not waiting. You've detached. Every post she makes is a silent cry, not for everyone, just for you. That's why she tries so hard to be seen, because she doesn't feel seen anymore, not by the one who mattered. She's gone from being admired to being ignored, and the transition is soul-crushing. The attention she gets from others doesn't feel the same. It's shallow, surface level. No one looks at her the way you did. No one speaks to her with the same presence. No one matches the emotional intensity she once had with you. And that contrast is exhausting. She keeps trying to fill the void, tries dating someone new, tries flirting, tries being desired again, but it always feels off, forced, empty, because when someone has tasted real connection, the fake stuff feels suffocating. And now she's suffocating behind filters, behind captioned quotes about strength and self-love, all while silently hoping you'll just notice just one like, one message, one indication that you're still watching. But you're not, and that reality, that complete disappearance of your attention, is what's truly eating her alive. What she thought was going to be a test for you has become a test for her, and she's failing. Because every time she tries to show the world she's fine, she only proves to herself how broken she really feels. She didn't expect your silence to turn into indifference. She thought you were faking it. But now, deep down, she knows you're not. You're actually gone, and now she's left performing for a man who stopped watching long ago. It starts subtly. At first, they don't notice. She keeps up the performance with ease. She laughs at jokes, makes weekend plans, talks about new things she's trying, almost like she's flourishing. To the outside world, nothing seems off. But the people closest to her, they begin to sense something isn't quite right. Her best friend starts noticing how her eyes shift when your name comes up, even if she pretends to roll them or casually dismiss you. Her energy changes. It's not explosive, it's scattered. There's a weight in her tone that wasn't there before. She's saying all the right things. I'm fine. It's for the best. I needed space. But the light behind those words is dimming. She'll casually mention you in conversations that aren't even about you, pretending it's just an observation. But she does it repeatedly, like she's fishing for someone to ask her how she really feels. Her friends begin to realize that even though she hasn't said it directly, her thoughts are orbiting around you constantly, and it's in the small moments that the truth begins to bleed out, like when she zones out during lunch, lost in a memory, or when a song you both used to love comes on, and she tries too hard to act unaffected. The mask slips, her energy dips, and in those tiny lapses, those flashes of vulnerability, it becomes clear she's not over it, not even close. The people closest to her start to notice patterns. She talks about how she's focusing on herself, yet she's always scrolling through old photos, reliving conversations, checking who you follow now. She tries to act indifferent when someone brings you up, but there's always a twitch of the eyebrow, a momentary pause, a look in her eyes that betrays the truth. She cares deeply, and she's angry at herself for caring, which only adds to the internal chaos she's trying to conceal. She might vent in roundabout ways, complain about how men don't know what they want, or how no one really connects anymore. But those complaints aren't about just anyone. They're about you asterisk. She won't say your name, not directly, but everyone who's been around her long enough knows exactly who she's referencing, because her bitterness isn't generalized. It's focused. There's a particular sharpness to her tone when she speaks about the silence, about how people ghost, about how people pretend to be healed. She's not talking about random guys. She's talking about the one who actually mattered. The one who walked away without a war, the one who didn't look back. Her closest confidants try to gently probe. Do you miss him? Are you sure you're okay? And she'll brush it off. She'll smile too fast. She'll change the subject too quickly, but underneath, her defenses are crumbling, because she can't lie to herself forever. The silence that you left behind is too loud now. It's echoing into her everyday life, infecting her mood, making even the most mundane moments feel hollow. She's snapping more easily, getting irritated at things that never used to bother her. She's trying to control the things around her because she feels powerless about the one thing she truly wants: to hear from you. And as time goes on, her friends start pulling away, not because they don't care, but because they see what she refuses to admit. She's stuck, trapped in a space between pride and pain. She wants to move on, but the emotional grip of your absence is stronger than she thought it would be. And she knows if she opens up, she'll unravel. So instead, she clutches her pride like armor, hoping it'll shield her from the truth she's been avoiding. That you're not playing a game, that you're not bluffing, that you're actually gone, and that scares her more than anything. Her inner circle sees it all: the silent war, the quiet heartbreak, the slow deterioration. They know she's hurting. They see it in the way she isolates, in the way she suddenly cancels plans, in how she overcompensates with new flings or sudden life changes that feel out of character. They know this is her way of running from the pain that sits with her every night. The pain she refuses to name, the pain that has your name etched across its surface. She won't tell them what she truly feels, but they don't need her to. Her silence says enough, her behavior screams it, and every time she pretends she's okay, they quietly exchange looks, knowing full well that she's anything but. Her life used to move with rhythm. There was a pace to it, a beat she had grown used to. Your voice in the morning, your messages throughout the day, your presence, even in silence, was part of her internal clock. You were her balance, her consistency, her grounding force. Even during arguments or emotional distance, There was still a tether between you two, something invisible but undeniably real. And now, with that tether gone, her world has slowed in a way she never anticipated. It's not just quiet, it's heavy. Time feels slower. Her mornings drag, her nights stretch endlessly, and the space where your energy used to be has become an echo chamber of doubt and regret. She thought she'd fill the void easily. Maybe she thought she'd dive into work, surround herself with friends, lose herself in the noise of life. But distractions only last so long. Eventually, the chaos of the outside world fades, and she's left sitting with herself. And in that silence, your absence grows louder. It seeps into her routines like a shadow she can't shake. She makes coffee and remembers how you used to tease her about how much sugar she added. She watches something on Netflix and recalls your inside jokes, the ones only you two understood. She hears a phrase, and your voice plays it in her mind with the exact tone you used. You're not physically present, but psychologically, you haunt the very architecture of her day. She starts noticing how even the things she thought she wanted, freedom, space, time to think, now feel meaningless. What good is freedom if you're lonely in it? What good is space if you're floating aimlessly, untethered? She realizes she didn't want solitude. She wanted control. She wanted the power to push you away without the consequence of truly losing you. And now that consequence has arrived in full force, the silence isn't temporary, it's not a phase, it's not a dramatic pause before you come back to her story. It's the new reality, and she hates it. Her attempts to fill that void become more frantic over time. She'll dive into new hobbies, read self-help content, flirt with people who don't light her up the same way, but nothing sticks, nothing satisfies, because the truth is, what she's craving isn't just connection. It's the *specific connection she had with you. And when a woman feels that kind of bond with a man and then loses it, nothing else compares. She may not even fully understand what you provided until it's gone, but now it's clear. You weren't just a man in her life. You were a mirror, a container, a space where she felt both seen and challenged, and now that space is empty. She looks around and everything feels different. Even her favorite things don't hit the same. The music she used to play now brings memories she didn't ask for. The places she loved feel cold. Even her own bed feels foreign, because she never realized how deeply her environment was tied to your presence. She didn't understand how deeply her nervous system had become used to your energy. And now, without it, her world feels flat, dull. She doesn't tell anyone this. She won't. But in her quiet moments, she stares at her phone, debating whether to break the silence, whether to reach out, just to feel that rhythm again, but she doesn't, either out of fear or pride or because deep down she knows that rhythm may never come back, at least not the way it once was. The hardest part for her isn't just that you're gone. It's that she's starting to feel like she's the only one still emotionally stuck. You've moved on, or at least that's how it looks, and that comparison eats at her. Because while she's spiraling inside, you seem to be rising. You're more focused. You've grown quieter, colder, more mysterious. You don't react. You don't show emotion, and that detachment is suffocating her more than any argument or outburst ever could. Because she doesn't know how to interpret it. Are you healing? Are you over her? Are you done completely? The lack of answers becomes its own kind of torture. Now, her world feels slower not just because you're gone, but because she has no clear direction. You were her anchor, and now she's drifting, trying to act like it's all okay, telling herself she made the right choice, but in reality, she's caught in an emotional purgatory where the days blend into each other, each one a little more hollow than the last. She can't replace you. She's realizing that now, not because there aren't other men, but because connection, real connection, can't be manufactured. It either hits or it doesn't, and with you it hit deeper than she ever expected. And now she's lost in a world that feels paused, waiting for something she's too afraid to reach for again. When she pulled away, whether it was through ghosting, creating emotional distance, or ending things altogether, she thought she had the upper hand. She thought she had made the bold move, that by removing herself she'd send a message, that you'd panic, that you'd fall apart, that your world would collapse without her presence. Because in her mind she still believed she had that kind of power over you. She believed the version of you that was once emotionally invested, attentive, maybe even a little too available. The version of you that made her feel like she was irreplaceable. So when she chose to walk away, she was certain it would be a short-term sting for you, followed by a desperate chase to win her back. What she never expected was that walking away wouldn't break you. It would awaken you. Your silence didn't signal pain. It signaled growth. It wasn't the collapse she assumed it would be. It was the beginning of something she didn't see coming. Your transformation. The man she thought she left behind. The one she expected to be emotionally wrecked. Started to disappear. But not in the way she hoped. You didn't crumble. You didn't become bitter or vengeful. You became better. You pulled your energy back not to retaliate, but to rebuild, quietly, consistently. And while she was scrolling, posting, and obsessing over what you might be thinking, you were creating distance. Not just physically, but energetically. You were becoming a different man, a colder man. A man no longer tethered to the pedestal she once sat on, and that's what's tearing her apart. She's not watching you suffer, she's watching you rise. You're not clinging, you're detaching, you're not reacting. You're responding with nothing, and that level of control, of restraint, of poise, it's intimidating, because now you've become the version of yourself that she couldn't control. She used to know exactly what to say or do to get a reaction from you. But now, no matter how loud her actions are, no matter how public her presence becomes, you remain untouched, unmoved. It's not just silence, it's stoicism, and it unnerves her more than anger ever could. What destroys her now is the fear that the man you are becoming might be out of her reach. That she didn't just lose you, she lost the chance to ever be close to this new version of you. She thought she was punishing you with distance, but now she's realizing she was the one who triggered your ascension. Your glow-up wasn't fueled by her absence. It was fueled by your decision to never return to the emotional state she left you in. That's what separates boys from men. Boys cry and chase. Men reflect and evolve. And now, she's seeing you as something she doesn't recognize. Something stronger. And nothing terrifies her more than seeing that strength used in a way that no longer includes her. She starts comparing. The attention she gets now feels hollow. The men around her, though flattering, don't carry the depth or the discipline you've grown into. They compliment her looks, but not her soul. They entertain her ego, but not her intellect. They don't challenge her. They don't make her feel seen in the way you did. And worst of all, they still react. They're predictable, you're not, and your unpredictability makes her curious. Makes her spiral, makes her question if she ever really had you in the first place, or if you just chose to give her a version of yourself that she no longer has access to. The more you pull away, the more she obsesses, not over the past, but over what you've become. She stalks quietly, trying to piece together the man you are now. Maybe you've become more reserved, more focused, more mysterious. Maybe your body has changed, your habits, your presence. Whatever it is, she notices. And it unsettles her because you're evolving outside of her narrative. You're no longer the man she left. You're now the man she wishes she had stayed for. But it's too late, and she knows it. She senses that coming back wouldn't just be hard. It would require her to face herself. To admit she was wrong, to admit she misjudged you, to admit she tried to break you and instead built someone stronger, that's what's tearing her apart. Not just that she lost you, but that she created the version of you that would never allow her back in. Her actions led to your silence. Her choices led to your indifference. She played a game and lost control of the board. And now she's watching, silently, as the man she once had becomes the man she can't reach. And nothing eats at a woman more than knowing the pain she tried to inflict became the power you now carry. And now she's left in a prison of her own, making haunted by memories she pretends don't hurt. Tormented by silence she thought she could handle, and paralyzed by the realization that the man she once took for granted has become untouchable. You're no longer part of her story, you've become the chapter she can't rewrite, and while she'll never admit it out loud, every day of your silence whispers the same brutal truth into her soul. She lost a king, and he's never coming back.